Asheville, North Carolina, the new desert of the world, and we are going to do this week's episode on the range life. Todd, Brian, Shane, and Andrew are all getting ready to head to Peru on July the 10th. I had a chance to catch up with them a couple weeks ago and get some interviews, and we had a really good time. Those guys are training hard, getting all their work obligations done and ready to take off and tackle the Rio Huallaga. They've been very, very thorough in getting all their information and everything together. They have some really solid sources on the ground. They have very recent pictures of the actual Rio Huallaga itself, the last unrun canyon of the Amazon. It's getting pretty heavy. It's getting ready to happen. They are dropping into the unknown. They've got all their money, all their gear, all their plane tickets. Sat phone is en route. It's real. It's getting ready to happen. These guys are getting ready to drop into the pit. So here we have a few interviews with them. Check these out, then we'll move on.
I'm Brian Smith, 32 years old, currently living in Squamish, BC.
Todd Gilman. I grew up in Salisbury, Maryland. I live in Seattle now for the past 2 years. I'm 33 years old.
My name is Andrew Oberhart. I'm 26. I'm originally from North Carolina, which is where I learned to paddle, but I live in Seattle. I've been here for 5 years.
I think that this team is really tight. I've been paddling with all these guys for a while now. In fact, you know, I'm probably the newest to whitewater on the team, and I've spent quite a bit of time with each person individually. And I mean, it's very rare when you get a team like this where all of us bring some strengths. All of us have an ability, I think, to recognize the strengths of the other people on the team, which is unique. You know, it's not that often where I would consider this team to have like one leader. We kind of tend to work together, and when someone's down a little bit lower, that means another person steps up, and when some person's up a little bit higher and they're paddling at that level, we tend to sort of follow behind them. So I think the characteristics of the team are a pretty balanced team and a very respectful team, which serves us really well, depending on what we're into.
Well, we don't know how long it's going to take. We know we're doing a section of the river that's about 120 kilometers, and we're estimating, based on just guessing, you know, how long we can go each day, knowing the average gradient, we're guessing 5 or 6 days. Clearly, if there's pretty straightforward sections, not as much scouting, that kind of thing, it could be quicker in certain places. Certainly, if we get to some cruxy bits, it could take longer. We're going to plan for essentially a week on the river, or bring that much food just in case. Hope to do it in 5 days. We know that the other group that attempted it hiked out pretty early on, right where we'll be at the beginning, at what they say was an unrunnable little box canyon gorge. You can get around it, but they say it was unrunnable. So we know that initially right there we're going to have a big portage to deal with, unless it's runnable. Beyond that, it's in a really deep canyon. It becomes jungle. It actually changes climate from arid mountains to pretty much jungle. And this one section called the Great Bend, it's in a really deep, I don't know how deep, thousands of foot deep gorge with little micro canyons at the bottom. So there will be definitely cruxy sections, box canyons. We are used to that, being that we train in BC. There's a lot of box canyons, a lot of granite walls. Hopefully, we're just hoping that everything goes pretty well. We know it's an average gradient of, I think, 250 feet per mile. And so the idea is that it probably won't get too hectic, at least not for too long. So anything that's real crazy, we should be able to deal with, whether it's run it or portage and put in below the whatever hectic part it was.
The Shining Path and the sort of whole drug cultivation program in the Huallaga Valley to me is one of the more intimidating parts of the trip. My guess is that we'll never see them. I mean, while it's no shining path at all, we deal with these sort of things up in BC all the time with these huge grow-ops and stuff. And I mean, these are the kind of people that don't want to be seen usually. So I'm hoping that we never see them.
It's gonna be a challenge. It's definitely gonna pose a challenge. None of us are, I wouldn't call any of us fluent necessarily in Spanish, but we do have a couple of contacts down in Peru that seem willing to work with us and maybe be along with us on the trip. So hopefully that'll cut down any, serious language barriers that we might encounter. But yeah, I would expect some comedy to come from mishaps due to language barrier.
There you have it, some of their interviews and thoughts. We have a whole bunch more of that we will be making available online here in the coming weeks. Here is a little bit of footage of some of the rivers we ran. We got on the Robe and the Icicle, hung out with a bunch of the local Seattle boys who are all top-notch. Let's watch some kayaking, and we'll see you next week.
My bed, I will lie in it. It's my